As a project manager, it is really important to set professional goals for yourself so that you be constantly improving. Why? Because it's through your improvement that you're going to get better and you're going to get a lot more opportunities. I'm a big believer in continuous improvement. And so in this video, we're going to learn about professional goal settings for project managers. The first project manager goal that I want to talk about is developing strong leadership skills. Why is this so important? Oh my goodness, because you are leading people. Your projects are made up of people. And so having really good leadership skills is critical to that, because your success of your projects rests on how well your project team is doing. So having really good, strong leadership skills, which is going to also include communication and understanding of how your project team is doing, becomes really, really important. And with AI on the heels of a lot of more professional jobs that are out there, AI will be coming into project management. Now, will they be more tactical focused? Absolutely. So now strong leadership skills is even going to become more important, because it's going to distinguish really awesome project managers who have the ability to lead people very quickly through items now that normally they would have looked after tactically. So leadership is just part and parcel what you really need to develop from a project management perspective. So how do you go develop your leadership skills in a project? Well, you want to really understand emotional intelligence. You really want to be connected to your team and sensing how they're doing. So there's things like building trust, ensuring that your team members know that they can come to you and that what is said here stays here, so that they can really let you know what's truly going on without fear of having any sort of ramifications coming back to them because they opened up. Another one is having really good rapport. Trust and rapport really go hand in hand. And if you want people to be open with you and to feel like they have trust, well, that is rapport. So as a leader, you have to establish that rapport. If you have a team member who's a bad apple and is spoiling the barrel, then you have to call that out. That's what leaders do. So you want to ensure that you have really good rapport with everyone. And that brings about another element, which is the elephant in the room. A leader needs to call things out that people know exist, but nobody wants to talk about. When you're in a leadership role, sometimes it can be lonely at the top because you're doing a lot of heavy lifting for things that people normally don't want to do, and they put the blinders on or they cover their eyes because they just don't want to see it, acknowledge it. But that's not what leaders do. Leaders and really good project managers who understand the importance of leadership skills don't shy away from the tough stuff. By addressing it immediately, they actually nip it in the bud, and so it doesn't become a big deal. And that's why leadership skills is so important, and is, as a project manager goal, it is probably the first thing that you should be looking to develop. If you're struggling with your projects, don't fret, because I have you covered. I want you to check out this free guide that I have for you that is going to help you understand how to ensure your projects don't fail. How do you get it? It's under this video in a link below. Improving EI. Well, what is EI? I actually said it in the first tip, emotional intelligence. And as a project manager goal, this again is another one you really have to tap into. Emotional intelligence is really, as I said earlier on, it's what you feel around you that you can't necessarily pinpoint. And it's not something that's so concrete. But it's also very much tied to good communication, because if you have strong EI, emotional intelligence, then you can pick up on things and then you can communicate to those around you what you're picking up on. Now, I'm not saying like a magic, crystal ball that you're going, I see the future. No, it's what you feel energetically in the room. Have you ever gone into a meeting and you kind of walked in and you could just sense there was like a negative energy because you can kind of see and feel what's going around you? Well, that in part and parcel is emotional intelligence. So what are some of the things that you can do to really build your emotional intelligence skills? Well, just what I said, you want to use your intuitiveness. We're all intuitive individuals. So when that example of the meeting room, you walk in and you can sense something is off. Well, that's your intuition. You just have that gut feeling and you want to go with that. Now, what you add to it is you then add in active listening. So this is where you then start listening and you pay attention to understand what's going on. What are people saying? Is there an argument happening? Are people complaining? And that's going to give you a lot of information. And then another thing that you also want to consider when it comes to emotional intelligence is body language, those nonverbal cues. So if you see everyone in the room and they're like this and they're talking and you can see expressions on faces that maybe aren't the typical happy ones but are more like miserable, you have to pick up on that. That emotional intelligence is just going to allow you to go further than what is being said. Because we all know what we say and how we feel can be two totally different things. And in professional settings, because of politics, we're more apt to be professional in our verbiage to make sure we don't offend anyone, and it may not even be true with how we feel around it. So sometimes people say, yeah, I'm fine, but you can sense through emotional intelligence that actually they're not. There's something else going on. That's emotional intelligence. Those are those nonverbal cues. You want to pick up on that intuition. That is so critical. And something really important for a project manager to have, and why project manager goals should be surrounded around this. Really, again, another critical goal for you to consider really addressing. Another project manager goal is to develop your technical skills. Now, you're going, Adriana, seriously, you know how busy I am as a project manager, and now you want me to like be an expert technically? No, I'm not saying that. But you definitely have to understand technically what is happening in today's current day of all the technical aspects, because you don't have to be an expert, but you do have to have your finger on the pulse. So as part of your continuous improvement, when you are trying to understand as a project manager what goals to look at, you want to look technically, is there anything out there that I need to learn? Because that's just going to help you fundamentally give you understanding, so that when you are with your experts, and here's the goal, when you are with your experts, you don't have to know exactly how they're doing what they're doing, but you at least need to have an understanding of what it is they're doing. You need to have an understanding of the lingo so you can ask the right questions. You just need that high level view, and you can allow your team members, because don't forget you're developing your project leadership skills, so you have great rapport, and you can go into deeper dives with them and ask them more detailed questions, and you can actually learn from them too, that's a really kind of cool way to develop your technical skills. You don't have to do a course. Yes, there's courses out there for anything that you need to learn, but you can actually spend time with them and ask them to walk you through what's going on. I'm constantly asking my technical individuals on projects to educate me on what it is that they're doing, because believe you me, things change so quickly. But that understanding technical skills is just going to be helpful so you can ask the right questions. You don't have to have all the answers, but you need to have an understanding. Managing time and priorities. Oh my goodness, this is probably I keep on saying everything is number one, so I can't be doing that to you, because you're going to go, Adriana, make up your mind, have a priority. Look, managing time and understanding priorities is a really good project manager goal to also focus on. I guess this is why I'm giving you this list. So they're all good, all right? So my apology, I'm digressing now. Let's focus on the task at hand, which is time management and priority. Look, what are we doing as project managers? We are constantly looking at our schedules. We are constantly focusing our time around time, because our projects have deadlines. Our tasks and activities have deadlines. So really getting good from a project manager goal of understanding how to do awesome time management is a skill set that is never gonna, you're never gonna not use. In fact, it's just gonna help you. But why do I also link that to priority? Because as you know, with project management, when you're focusing on really good time management and you have your scheduling and you're trying to figure out how to get things done, you have to add in prioritization. Like, what really is the number one thing you have to do? And if you have to start juggling things around in order to ensure that your overall deliverable is going to be completed, then that's a skill set you want to develop. And that sometimes is something that you have to look a little bit outside of what you think you would get that information from. So my project management course, Slay, actually talks about this, because it's an important skill set to really link with your project management skills. So how do you prioritize? How do you do time? There's a little bit of negotiation that comes along with that as well. So what are some things that you can do today to help you with this skill set? understand the importance of what is important and urgent and what is just urgent but not necessarily important, because that's really how we live in the project world, right? We're constantly, either if we're not firefighting, we're trying to move things forward. And what happens a lot is we get very mixed up, and I'm not just talking about project managers, I'm talking about society as a whole. We focus on too many things that are urgent but not necessarily important. And that's why developing your time management skills and understanding prioritization is going to allow you to start truly focusing on the importance of things. And it's okay to not give high priority to something that may be urgent but not important, because whose urgency is it? Is it the project urgency, or is it someone else's urgency because they didn't have good time management? Do you see how the two are connected? And when it comes to project managers who are looking to really do really good project management goals, understanding the link between the two, the distinction between the two, and how to call out and ensure that you're focusing on truly important stuff and really giving number one priority to important and urgent stuff, and giving zero priority to things that are just urgent but not necessarily important, is a skill set that you're going to have to develop. So that's something else you may want to consider too. Another project manager goal you may want to consider is pursuing some personal development. So what do I mean by that? Well, it's very simple. You can go to conferences. That's a great way to do it. Of course, there's courses out there for anything that you want to improve upon. But something else that you may not have considered, and something I really didn't talk about, the skills that we were talking about so far in this video, is mentorship. Mentorship is a great way to really improve your professional development. And I actually have a video. If you go to the YouTube search bar, do Adriana Girdler mentors, I actually have a really good video that teaches you how to get a mentor. Mentors are valuable. They're going to help you with your project manager goals, because it's another sounding board of someone who has lots of experience to actually help you get better and continuously improve, but also give you really great advice and wisdom. Because there are times when you come across things, you really do need an ear of someone. And if you're going to develop your skill set, having a mentor, another person who can guide you in this journey of becoming better professionally, is only going to benefit you. So something definitely to also consider as a project manager goal. Okay, now that you have some ideas on some potential project manager goals for you, you need to go here under this video. There's a link to get this guide on why projects fail. Because as part of your skill set at becoming better, you want to make sure that your projects are also doing really well and getting better too. And the best way to do that is to understand what are those things that make them fail. So definitely look at it. It's free for you. Make sure you watch this next video. It's a step-by-step video on how to create a communication plan. On that note, if you could like this video, subscribe to the channel. It tells YouTube we're doing a really good job, which helps this amazing community grow. On that note, I'll see you in the next video.